Well, twist my unmentionables right off. It's the Krusty Fox. I'm back for another episode of And Just Like Crap, a shady little recap of Sex and the City revival series And Just Like That. It's party time in New York this week, which means some delicious mess. So, roll around in some sequins, rugby tackle anyone who goes near the karaoke machine, and let's get into it. We are being fully gaslighted about Carrie's minging debut novel. After their first chapter swap, I'd personally have interpreted neighbour Duncan's praise, which includes such words as brilliant, propulsive, and grounded, as heavily sarcastic cruelty. But they aren't. He means it. Because, of course, Carrie has revolutionised fiction. We're expected to believe that her opening line,
"The woman wondered what she'd gotten herself into,"
stopped a world-renowned author dead in his tracks, awestruck by its genius. The only thing striking me after reading that first chapter would be the train I'd stepped in front of. As has long been the case, nothing tickles Carrie's fancy like smoke being blown up her proverbial, which, I suspect, Duncan is very aware of. And so he receives an invite to a party in Charlotte's honour. But don't worry, we'll get to that. From the minute he shows up, she's glued to him like she struck gold while rooting around in his garbage for bank statements and letters from his cardiologist. They share drinks. They slink off to the terrace together. They laugh and joke and flirt, all of which catches Miranda's attention. Miss Hobbs' fatal mistake is the same one we've seen her make before, attempting to have an adult conversation with her best friend of 30 years. When she passes comment on the strikingly obvious vibe between Carrie and Duncan, Carrie's reaction is 0 to 60 in 2 seconds on the psycho scale. As per usual, everything Miranda says is 100% accurate. That Carrie's relationship with Aiden is hard work, that she doesn't seem to be having any fun lately, that there may be better options available. Carrie, meanwhile, is mortally offended at the mere suggestion that she might be unfaithful. An ancient memo evidently dropped into the spam folder of both her mouth and clampot.
"You've got mail."
And Carrie knows all of this, like she always does. She knows that her relationship is a pile of whack, sometimes literally, but she just can't admit that she's wrong. And so, the woman chooses to continue living in thinly veiled denial. 3 episodes, max, before she's chowing down on some certified British beef. Mark my words. Charlotte's literally cancerous storyline trundles along this week, with the pressure of keeping Harry's prostate cancer secret reaching boiling point. The excuse for the aforementioned party is Charlotte's carefully unspecified birthday, though we're pointedly reminded several times that it's not her 60th. That'll be that positive spin on the aging process we were promised, I suppose. The real reason is that Carrie wants to cheer Charlotte up and distract her from her troubles. Admirable goals! Immediately shot to shit by Carrie making it painfully obvious to Miranda that something else is up. And rather than engage all that fiction writing imagination to invent a cover story, telling her that Richard Burton has an inoperable tumour. Which, in fairness, does lead to one of the episode's best jokes when multiple people, including Harry, blithely acknowledge that her dog dying would probably mess her up more than her husband. Fair enough. Events are then set on an escalating scale of silliness, starting with Harry's admission that he's confided in his personal shopper at Bergdorf's about his illness. Another highly relatable experience for all of us watching at home. I'm more in the trailed around the place by a store detective income bracket. Things come to a head when Miranda, in the episode's other best joke, accidentally implies that Charlotte could just nip down to the stray husband shelter to get a replacement if he pops his clogs. That's when he gathers most of the main players up, though evidently Anthony and Seema don't get a look in, and lets the cat out of the bag. His surgery's next week, so expect a less funny take on the whole thing. From the show, at least. For my part, I've got enough bum jokes lined up to fill a 90s Nickelodeon show. So, if you're in the market for that, why not like and subscribe? I'm only gonna get worse from here, and you wouldn't want to miss that, would you? This week in Who Gives a Shit news, Lily's boyfriend Diego ballet dances right out of their newborn poly relationship, providing her with the perfect excuse to slope around the episode, draping herself over furniture and at no point wondering if this might be the reason she's single. And sometime lay Brady, who's also at the party, doesn't even cross her mind as a rebound option. Ouch. Giuseppe's therapist mother, Gia, played by the always welcome Patti LuPone, visits from Rome in this episode, and she does not care for sexagenarian son-in-law Anthony, though she does take a liking to Carrie, perhaps sensing a money-making opportunity in her bottomless pit of unresolved issues. We get a more literal example of nobody caring when Anthony advises Carrie that, should Gia ask, he was never married. Carrie's response?
Okay, neither was I.
She's never beating those manslaughter allegations. Henry Todd Wexley's teenage humiliation tour continues unabated. He hogs the karaoke for much of the party, with a set that jackknifes wildly between I Dreamed a Dream and Copacabana. The kid couldn't be getting gay-coded any harder if they had him dress all in rainbows and use VHS cleaner as cologne. Miranda's main role in the episode is to be the unofficial party MC, desperately trying with all her might to bring the atmosphere up. It's worth saying I very much like the version of her we're getting in the post-Che era. Well-intentioned, funny, and only ever one bad day away from a full nervous breakdown. Works for me! Charlotte's colleagues from the gallery manage a cheeky throwback to Sex and the City's Season 1 baby shower episode, as they fight over whose names are going on a crappy regifted candle. Leela, the blonde one, FYI, also belts out a great cover of River Deep Mountain High. See? Even the worst written characters can occasionally prove worthwhile when deployed correctly. And the only reliably deployed guest character, Bitsy Von Muffling, pops up at the party to immediately hit on the nearest gay man and force him to duet Shallow with her. I want a Bitsy spin-off yesterday. Just her, a platinum card, and a new lavender marriage every episode. Bliss. This week, it's Seema's turn to make it out of Nobody Cares news. Her version of poverty, while still as relatable as Father's Day in an orphanage, at least provides some laughs this time. Her slightly limited means drive her to a down-market local salon to get lash extensions, where a technician, with claws like a gay werewolf, attempts to communicate across the language barrier between English and English with a mouthful of balls.
Can we just put a pat on your face, okay?
By the time the party rolls around, said claws have given Ms. Patel a raging case of pink eye, and I presume it was vanity that stopped the show going fully gross in its presentation. Where's the swelling? The oozing pus? The simmering disgust of fellow partygoers who assume she's been scratching her arse and not washing her hands afterwards? It's not relatable. Her solution to this infectious problem is to MacGyver an eye patch out of a Louis Vuitton fanny pack, which I'll give the show credit for on the basis of finally letting a character not take themselves so seriously. Next, let's see Carrie show up at brunch with a stole that looks suspiciously like shoe. Things half look up for Seema though, when landscaper Adam reveals he's single and drunkenly serenades her on the karaoke machine of shame. And it is wildly good timing that they chose Betty Davis eyes for the same week that JoJo Siwa's Gargling Rocks at the Chemical Plant cover version was teased. Logan Marshall Green, for what it's worth, is a surprisingly good singer, and his gently teasing rendition halts Seema's planned Irish exit and instead sends them home together. And fair play, because that would work on me too. They'd need to put an inflatable paddling pool under me by the end of the first verse. This video's question is, what's the worst experience you've ever had at a party? Did someone ruin your soiree? Or were you the crasher of someone else's? Answers in the comments below please, and the best will make a spectacle of itself in the next video. Either way, thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, if you can't be good, be crusty.